you know, that word is very interesting, human being. I think you've heard me say this before. Like, you know, we're not human been or human gonna be, right? The time is now, and now is better than never. Be who you are on the inside, regardless to the projections that people around you or your environment, regardless to the boxes they try to place you in. Be who you're gonna be. And they'll catch on or they won't, and it's okay. It's waiting to be accepted by everyone else is actually a waste of your time and space. Like, just be. It's never too late, whether you're 8 or 80 years old, to think about something that you love to do and something that is meaningful to you without applying the pressure of it having to be financially successful or commercially successful. If you really love doing something, like, you gotta commit yourself to make it a dream and commit yourself to it and build it piece by piece.
I've always had like this feeling, like deep in my gut, and I don't know what it is or what this voice is, but I've always just followed that voice, no matter what anybody else thought about me, no matter what anybody else told me, because I believe that voice and that feeling is my spirit. I believe that's God. Now I'm here, and I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck you brought me here for. What am I doing? I feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm ready to be raw, and I'm ready to tell my story my way, and I don't want any hands in the pot. And I made that call, I made that decision, but it also represented a decision that I made in myself to be dependent upon God within me. I was just fed up with doubting myself, you know? And you doubt yourself when you have convinced yourself that something outside of you is gonna get you somewhere. And that lie that I was believing for a long time was getting too heavy for me to carry. And I was like, I genuinely can't do it anymore. I don't care. I'm snatching a wig off and we're gonna do this. I have to do it now or else it ain't never gonna get done, and I'm not letting nobody take my dream.
He gives a he cool to care. He wasn't too cool to care. You can't be too cool, because if you too cool, you gonna freeze to death. Right. Niggas be trying to be too cool and not be silly and always try to be hard, and it's like, bro, you look dumb. And it made me think, man, being cool, having the biggest songs don't matter all the time. It's what is your skill? What is your discernible? What is the skill that you bring? And that stuck with me, because it's like, bro, you don't even realize the geeks, the ones that care, that give a fuck, that it's passion, where they do it for free, they're the ones that stick around. I think Jasper is like my closest friend, and man, the geek about like anime and like all that shit. And like, while it's not my thing, I love if we drive by and he's like, bro, that car is shaped just like the car from season 4 of this thing right here. Like, I love that. Please just keep sharing that information that I can't get from nowhere else. And I want to hear more of that in just rap music.
The art of being weird, something that is often neglected amongst most artists. This is due to social media, society, and artist insecurity, saying that if something isn't perfect or doesn't fit a certain standard, then it doesn't belong. So often, most artists never end up fully expressing themselves due to societal standards and their insecurities. Remember, in life, either you decide who you are or the world decides who you are. Pause. Look at me. Good boy. Now I'm playing. Just listen, like the video for me, subscribe, and make sure you comment your thoughts and opinions. I appreciate it. But amongst these good boys and good girl artists, there remain some that stand out. Naturally, they do. They just shine. And when they perform, when you hear their music, it's like it's so polarizing that it can make you uncomfortable at times. They are true masters naturally at the art of being weird. Weird is often given a negative connotation. Difference in society is equated to something that needs to be destroyed. But these artists reverse that narrative, and they see their inherent uniqueness as a superpower. They redirect that energy fully into empowering themselves as an artist. Tyler, the Creator, in 2017, on See You Again, a song where he switches voices at least 3 times, while simultaneously saying awkward bars that just scratch that cringy side of your brain.
20, 20, 20, 20 vision. Cupid hit me with precision. Yeah, I give up my bakery to have a piece of your pie. Ugh.
With a euphoric production that has xylophones, pianos, and trumpets. Literally awkward like heaven is the best way I could describe something like this. Doechii as of recently releasing Alligator Bites Never Heal. And then she has a track like Boiled Peanuts where she has this weird venom-like voice where it's spaced out and there's deep booms with this weird, what is that, a flute or like a... She uses some sort of like clarinet to create this like weird synthy bass sound while having like a super villain voice.
It's a sunny day. The gang's all here.
And then you get a track like Denali's River also on that album, where Doechii tells us an embarrassing story about how she found out her boyfriend was actually cheating on her with another man.
And I didn't know about Sue. I opened up the messages and had to hit the zoom. Turns out the girl was really a dude.
Then she tells us about how she went on to be successful, and while she was at the top of one mountain of success, her mental mountain was at an all-time low.
What can I say? The shit works, it feels good, and my self-worth's at an all-time low.
Things that people often try to scrub away or make it seem as if it never happened. But here she is vulnerably telling us all these uncomfortable truths that she had to come to terms with. And while also telling this story, her split personalities and their voices are produced in the song.
Have to turn the guts into soup beans.
Whoa. Okay, Doechii. We don't want to revert back into our old ways.
And right when everything is at an all-time low, to relieve some of the anxiety, she does this breathing technique that she learned.
Whoa, Doechii, you're gonna concern yourself, okay? So, LA, can you help me calm Doechii down with this breathing technique? Can y'all do that for us tonight? Woosah!
It's so beautifully weird and dynamic. Kanye West on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy with the song, what's the name of the shit? Runaway, where he starts it off with a basic piano chord and he just strikes the piano chord. And then towards the end, he literally starts speaking through his synthesizers. I don't think I've ever heard a person speak the way he speaks with instrumentals. Notice how everything I described, maybe when you first hear it, it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. I feel like the best art is weird art because it makes you uncomfortable. It's different. In a world where everything is so copy and paste, I'm gonna make certain types of people uncomfortable because they're genuinely just not used to that. Our spirits will collide. So whenever certain arts like this give me that same feeling that I sometimes feel with people, I like it a lot because it scratches an itch that not a lot of art can scratch. Honestly, people are always wondering how to stand out, how to become extremely successful, how to make people remember you, how to last a long time in the game, when it's like you literally just have to be you. There's a million Lil Pumps, there's a million Lil Babies, there's a million Ice Spices, which is why we are seeing their declines and they're not standing the test of time. But there's only one Michael Jackson, there's only one Beyonce, there's only one Doechii, there's only one Kendrick Lamar. So by being weird in a sense, you create your own need. You know how in business they say, see a need and fill that need? Well, whenever you create your own need, which is you, the artist that people want, and you fill that because again, you are the artist that they want, it becomes this thing where it's like you're your own niche. You can only get this specific message in my own unique way of expressing it from me. It's like my channel and my videos are its own entity, its own universe, you could say. I allow my true nature to show, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable. You realize the uncomfortable, the parts you think are awkward, cringy, or ugly, are actually the most beautiful parts of you. See, oftentimes we focus on the bad a lot with these type of things. We say God's chosen ones, they're often given the hardest work. But see, on the opposite side of that too, God's greatest soldiers are given the greatest gifts of life as well. On the opposite side of people laughing, judging you and your uniqueness, there is people appreciating, loving, and celebrating it. You just have to shift your frequency. I always say gay people are the realest people because here's how I look at it. A gay person that is openly gay, they know that wherever they go, people are gonna judge them. People are gonna look at them weird. People are gonna count them out. People might even do nasty, weird things to them. But still, they stay 10 toes in what they believe and who they are, and they walk with that, with their heads held high, even loud. Not a lot of people can say that. There's a lot of people who can't even listen to certain songs with people in the car. So for somebody to love, respect, and be that confident in themselves, to brand that as them when they're first meeting people, it doesn't get no realer than that. And it makes it that much easier for them to find friends. It makes it that much easier for them to gravitate towards people because they are on a natural, confident, weird, unique frequency. So they will always experience a reality that coincides with that. I want to leave you with this to think about. Being weird is being you. There are millions of blades of grass, but no two are the same. So why would you live your whole life for everybody else, trying to be like everybody else, avoiding who you are. Because when you do that, you rob yourself, your God-given time of experiencing what you truly are. Wait, before we get up out of here, check out my Twitch, check out my Instagram. Yeah, be good people, I guess. Love.